It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Like, just calm down, folks. Just calm down. All right, welcome in to another night of the Best Boys Center Ice Podcast 2025 Stanley Cup Playoff Wrap-Up Show. I'm Barry Besse, along with my son, Carson Besse. And every night so far in the playoffs, except for the first night of the playoffs, we've been doing a wrap-up show. And tonight was just a one game. You know, we get down to this time of the year when
that's going to be the rest of it now.
Yeah, we've already got two teams in the conference finals, so we're going to have a game a night. And tonight was game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers in Florida. We'll get to that in a minute. But I just want to say all of these wrap-up shows can be found on our Best Boys Center Ice Podcast YouTube channel. You can just kind of go to YouTube, search Best Boys, and there it is. Or you can find it on the Refocused Radio Network, along with Shemaya Reed's I Am Refocused Radio and Rudy Campos Jr. and Sweep the League. Rudy's taking care of the NBA because the NBA and the NHL pretty much at the same point, conference finals times for both. In the New York Knicks pulled off a big upset. Tonight they eliminate Boston, the number one seed, the defending champions tonight. And I think they said that's New York's first trip to the conference final since 2000. So anyway, so Rudy takes care of that. We take care of the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now tonight we had, as I mentioned, Florida at home to Toronto, trying to close it out against the Maple Leafs. And Carson, we've seen this act before, and we were all expecting, you know, after Leafs win the first two games of the series, then they lose three in a row to Florida. It looked like Florida was just going to run away with it. And then all of a sudden, thanks to a couple of third period goals by, Austin Matthews decides to show up for a change. And Max Pacioretty, the Toronto Maple Leafs force a Game 7 back in Toronto on Sunday night with a 2-0 win. Nice win for Wall. He gets his first ever playoff shutout. But I didn't get a chance to see much of the first part of the game. But it looks like Toronto had the play in the first, but totally were outplayed in the second. It was just a matter of Florida not getting anything by Wall. And then Toronto only got 4 shots in the third, 17 overall, but still wound up winning 2-0. I kind of think that the Matthews goal on the wrist shot, Bob probably wishes he can go back and do that one again. But the Pacioretty goal was just a great backhand tip. So now what do we do, Carr? Everybody's favorite guy, Biz Nasty, was wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs blazer on the TNT set. So he was going nuts. But now we're tied, and I know what the answer is, but I'm going to ask it anyways before we get into the heart and the meat of the actual game. Can Toronto at home, Game 7, actually pull this off?
Nope. We've seen this movie. We've seen this movie before. How many times that the Leafs force a Game 7 at home and they lose? The Leafs don't win Game 7s. And no matter if they're on the road or they're at home. They lost Game 7 last year against Boston in overtime. The infamous collapse actually had the 12-year anniversary the other day of the Leafs' epic 4-1 blown lead in the third period. When they were up 4-1 with like 12 minutes left in the game, and they blew it, went to OT, and Boston won that. They've lost Game 5 back when the bubble happened, and not the bubble, the Canadian or the bubble year. Yeah, the bubble
Yeah, the
year.
bubble year was
Montreal beat them in Game 5, which was at that time the Game 7. Uh, again, we've just seen them lose big games at home constantly. The Leafs don't win Game 7s, and I, like I've said, you know, the Leafs, yeah, they proved me wrong. I thought the Panthers were going to win today, and they didn't. But nope, I don't see. Nope. I mean, they're going to have obviously energy going into that game, but I mean,
what?
nothing's changed. Good for, like you said. Go ahead. What were we going to ask?
Oh no, keep going. I just got a question about Game
Well,
7.
good thing that Captain Matty decided to finally freaking play. I mean, it's about time. First goal in the second round in his 11 games he's played. One goal, and you know what? This is going to happen. We just talked about this before we went live. Oh my God, Austin Matthews is the hero for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He scored one freaking goal, and about time he did because he finally did something. After what he said after last game, he better have scored a goal.
Yeah.
That they better give their fans something to cheer about. Well, he did today. Thank God he did. That doesn't make him any different, I don't think, but good on him to get that. He needed that, honestly, to break through, but I'm not convinced by it. We've seen this before, and I'm not just being a Leaf hater. It's true. You can't ask any hockey fan. I believe there's even some Toronto Maple Leaf fans that say the Leafs are going to blow this game because they've just done it before.
This was a fan base who in Game 5
They were throwing jerseys.
jerseys on the ice. Fans were leaving after the second period when they were down 4-0, throwing jerseys on the ice, and now all of a sudden, oh, we're going to take Game 7. We're going to move on to the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah, and I'll give the Leafs credit in some aspect that the Game 7s they normally play in are pretty close. You know, they had the Game 7 against Tampa Bay. Was it 2022, I believe, when Tampa went to the finals last time to play Colorado. They went to Game 7 in Toronto and only lost by one goal. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a repeat of Game 5 again, where the Panthers just blow it up and, like, I mean, it's a wash. It's like a 5-0 or 5-1 game, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to ask you about Game 7 and what Florida has to do. But first, you've been doing a great job of the shot chart. And I really think for folks that aren't familiar with hockey, this will explain a lot about where teams get their shots on net and where they get their goals. And that's must be Toronto's right there, right?
Yeah, this is Austin Matthews' wrist shot and then Pacioretty's goal at the end of that game right here.
Yeah, so this gives you a really good look at every shot. The Leafs had 17 shots, where they placed them, and not very much in front of the net, a lot from the outside, but two of them got through. And like I said, the one Matthews wrister probably Bob should have saved, and then there's Florida. No goals, but a little bit more.
You kind of can understand where what was going on during the game. I mean, where I stand on Sunday's game. I don't know. They haven't given me as an outsider a reason to think that they're going to win that game. So I'm standing by the Panthers winning that Game 7.
So speaking of the Panthers, and I want to ask you this. Florida Panthers, defending Stanley Cup champions, the two-time defending Eastern Conference champions. They're going into Game 7 in Toronto. What, from this point until game time on Sunday, what do the Florida Panthers have to do to take this game and win this and move on to the Eastern Conference Final? What do they have to do in Toronto against the Leafs?
Just play their game, to be honest with you. I mean, they have experience. They use that to their advantage, take advantage of the little mistakes the Leafs are maybe going to make during that game. And I think they're going to get on it early and be ready from the jump to take the game over at the beginning. I think that's going to be the big key is if they start on time. And I think the Leafs are going to have a lot of jitters. And they're going to be nervous because they've been in this spot so many times and I didn't want to say it never goes their way because they don't deserve it every time they lose. But they've been in this spot. They haven't seen any success. Even though they're at home, I think they're projected not to win this game because of their reputation. And I think Florida's just got to play their game. that led them to be Stanley Cup champions last year, and they're going to take the game, I think, in my opinion.
Now, on the other side, Toronto just comes off a very big emotional win, elimination game win, tied the series. Knowing tying the series gets you back home, crowd's going to be in it. We know that. How do you, as a Toronto Maple Leaf, as a player, how do you control that energy and put it into playing a better all-around 60-minute game? Because if they don't play a 60-minute game,
They're not going to win.
They're not going to win. So how do you channel that? Because it's going to be very emotional, especially the first 10 minutes of the game.
They're going to have to lock it up right at the start. They're going to have to keep the Panthers doing what the Panthers are doing to them in Game 5, which is just forcing them to dump and chase. And that's going to be hard. I don't think they're going to really be able to do that, but they're going to be the key for them because the Panthers are going to be, I think, going to be firing a lot of shots at the net. They got to, from the jump, control it. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard for them to win that game. I mean, I don't see this game going any other way. I could be completely wrong, but I really don't. And you know what? It's a rerun movie every April. This is what happens every time. They might as well just.
This game was very physical. It was 58 hits for the Panthers, 35 hits for the Maple Leafs. So I think if you're a Florida Panther, you got to keep doing that. You got to keep hitting, pushing. Look, Maple Leafs had 35 blocked shots. So you know that the Panthers are going to want to try to get shooting lanes, get people in front of the net. If they get people in front of the net and they get those pucks there, I think they may be able to do another 6-1 game or a 4-3 or 4-2 game. They could do very well. But I'm going to ask you what you normally ask me. Who do you have as the X factors in this game? For one, we'll pick one for Florida and one for Toronto.
Florida, I think their fearless leader, Barkov. I think he's gonna be the guy to watch to lead them to victory and to continue their run to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. Toronto, I'll have to say their fearless leader, or whatever that means to them, their captain as well. I think it's going to be the captains, and I don't know. I mean, I do feel bad because I feel like every time I'm on here, I'm dogging the Leafs, and we've
just seen this story play out so many times over the last few years.
I give the edge to that in Barkov because he's won the Stanley Cup. He knows what it takes, and he's a proven leader. And it's going to be, to me, the captains in this game.
I'm going to go with Matthew Tkachuk. It's time for Matthew Tkachuk to be Matthew Tkachuk in this game. And as far as the Leafs is concerned, even though I know it's not going to make much of a difference, but John Tavares, I think, is going to come out there and he's going to prove. I think Tavares is going to prove why they shouldn't have taken the captaincy away from him this season. So that's my X factors in the game tomorrow on Sunday. Let's see, that game on Sunday is going.
I imagine it'll be 7 or 7:30.
It's a 6:30 Central Time start from Toronto. Now we have a game 6 tomorrow night in Dallas. The Stars and the Jets, after Winnipeg came back and stayed off elimination and clawed back into this series. Dallas still leads 3-2 going into the game tomorrow up in American Airlines Center in Dallas. Again, I'm still pulling. I still think the Stars have too much power. Hellebuck looked a whole lot better, but that was at home. He's had tough time on the road. His goals against average comparison between home and on the road
is a lot different,
like a +4 or something like that. I just think it's going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to come down to the third period. It's going to come down to the last 5, 6, 7 minutes of the third period before it's even decided. But I think the Stars have got this. They seem to be hungry, except for they kind of let things slip away the other night in Winnipeg. But at home, they don't want to go back to Winnipeg, because you go back to Winnipeg, Game 7, in that atmosphere and that crowd, and knowing Hellebuck is a better goaltender at home. You want to get this game, Dallas. You want to definitely get this one.
I have Dallas taking it as well. I think they played super well at home. The Jets have not played well on the road. It's going to be, I think, a pretty close game, but I think, Dallas is going to take this one and advance to the conference finals again. I just think they're a better overall team. Like I've said, just top to bottom, they're a bit more complete team than the Jets. The Jets have had their fun run, but I think it ends tomorrow night, personally.
Yeah, and again, like I hate to go against especially a Canadian team and a team like Winnipeg, who I've never had any problems with. Like, it's not one of those teams. It's not like Calgary, where it's like that's an instant.
No.
Don't like that team.
Winnipeg's a good team, and they're a team to like, but they're just not built enough, I don't think, to win a Stanley Cup at this time.
They're definitely in trouble. The Stars at home probably will wrap it up, I think, and Carson thinks too, tomorrow night. So that game starts at 7 o'clock Central. We'll be on the air right after the game ends. That's probably about 10 o'clock-ish tomorrow night. We'll be on the air. And we'll either we're going to have another Game 7 or we're going to have the Stars moving on to face the Oilers in the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year. So there you go. That's our wrap-up show for tonight. As you can see, the two series that are going on right now, Toronto and Florida tied at 3, and Dallas has that 3-2 lead on Winnipeg going into Game 6 tomorrow night in Dallas. The 2025 Stanley Cup Playoff wrap-up shows are all available on our YouTube channel, Best Boys Center Ice Podcast on YouTube, via the Refocused Radio Network, and you can get all that there. You saw I'm going to be on Spreaker probably on Monday, maybe Tuesday, Spreaker.com, and just enjoy it, because if we definitely want to hear from you. If you can, we're going to be this will be repost on Facebook here in just a little bit. Let us know what you think. Who do you think's got Game 6 in Dallas? Who do you think's got Game 7 on Sunday in Toronto?
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you either on Carson's Facebook Messenger or on my Facebook Messenger or through TikTok, however you want. Just message us and you can be a part of the fun of the Best Boys Center Ice Podcast 2025 Stanley Cup Playoff Wrap-Up Show. And that will wrap things up for tonight. Again, Carson, a nice job on all the graphics and the open.
Thanks.
And in the meantime and in between time, everybody have a great hockey night.
But
all right, we'll see you at bowling tomorrow.
I'm not bowling in the morning because of Kaylee's shower.
Oh, okay. So you're not bowling. Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay.
Yes. So I'm going to have to help out in the morning. So I'm not bowling.
Okay, good. Okay, then we won't. We'll see you. We'll see
tomorrow,
you
tomorrow night
on the internet.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, son.
All right.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.